Hey everyone, Vince here. We're diving into some reward apps today to see how they're going in 2025 and if they're still worth the time and effort. Hope you enjoy. First up, we have a new app called Meow Sort, and this is what it looks like when you first launch it up. As you can see, everyone, at the top of the screen we have our gem-based currency, as well as a 3-hour timer and our supposed PayPal currency. Underneath that, we have our spinning wheel system, which that will gradually fill up the more you actually play a level. We then have a floating gem, which if you tap that, you have to watch an ad. Then, of course, you get the gems in return. And at the bottom of the screen, we have our items. So these will get us through the level if we get stuck. Now, the whole point of this game is to match the same colors in the same test tube. Very, very straightforward. Underneath some of these tubes, you actually have the gem-based currency. So as you can see, I'm slowly filling up this tube, and in return, we're getting a few of the gems. But as I was talking, an advertisement played, and that's because every single 30 seconds or so, an advertisement's going to automatically play, even if you don't prompt it. So it's another one of these intrusive ad systems, which is very frustrating. Either way, let me just keep on filling up these little tubes, then I'll show you the actual spinning wheel system. All right, so at this point, we have the multiplier in the middle, and of course, the supposed prizes that we can land on. Before you can even spin the wheel, you have to watch an ad, of course. Now, let's see what we can get here, as we have our multiplier at the top and the item at the bottom. So supposedly 200 of the gems, which then you can watch another ad to try and get a multiplier on that as well. Even if you don't opt in to watch the ad, it's gonna play it either way, everyone, so that's how they really force you. It's very annoying, as I mentioned earlier. And realistically, that is all there is to this. I started off today's test with 50 minutes on the timer. I generated 11,623 of the gems, and that converted into 4 cents worth of USD, where the minimum is 5 cents, so I had to play again. I played for another 20 minutes or so and actually generated that last cent I needed. I am happy to say, everyone, I did withdraw that 5 cents worth of USD currency, and it did actually arrive to my PayPal account, but it took a week. So that was very worrying to say the least, but it did actually come through. You guys can do whatever you want with that information, alright? This is definitely not worth the time and effort, at least in its current state, in my opinion, but again, it's up to you. That's my review on Meow Sort. Let's move on. Next up, I've been asked to talk about MISTPLAY. So everyone, this is what MISTPLAY looks like these days. Top of the screen, you have your account statistics. Here you can see that I have almost 1,400 of the MISTPLAY units, which is the currency. What I will say about MISTPLAY, everyone, straight away here is that the limited time events are always being updated, at least here in Australia. Like for instance, they have an event here. If I actually install a new game and play it for 20 minutes, I'll get 50 of the units extra for free. They also have a pretty sweet top pick for you section, where they'll try and give you the game with the fastest units. But this is why MISTPLAY is on today's video, because at least in my country, everyone, they have a 100% boosted game. As you can see, we can get 8 times the units by playing Toon Blast right now. And just in case you've never heard of MISTPLAY before, essentially they give units in return for time played on the games on their platform, okay? I'm sure by now most of you guys know what MISTPLAY is either way. The amount of units you're going to get from this boosted game is insane. In fact, I think it's the highest I've seen. In regards to cash out, sadly MISTPLAY here in Australia does not have PayPal currency, which is a big letdown in my opinion. For $5 worth of Amazon currency though, I need 1,610 of the gems, and here you can see I have various other cash out options available as well. Again, this is all country specific, so please keep that in mind. In your own country, you're going to have completely different to what I have here in Australia. If you do have MISTPLAY in your country, I'd love to know the highest times reward you're going to get for the units for a game. Like looking at the games I've tested recently, you can see that ×5 is generally the highest we're going to get. I just know that in each country, everyone has different amounts. Now, to give you guys a little update of my earning rate here in Australia, you can see here from my earning history, I played a game called Meow Sort, and on the 2 sessions that I played it throughout the day, I managed to generate around 400 of the gems, and that was roughly around an hour and 10 minutes or so of pure gameplay. Now, for Idle Outpost, it was around 200 of the units, including the bonus, and that was around an hour of gameplay as well. You see, that's the thing with MISTPLAY, your unit earning rate really will determine how good this app actually is. The one thing I will say about MISTPLAY is that the games are actually quite fun to play all in all. And I actually do think MISTPLAY is worth it still, at least here in my country. I found in my own experience when I did withdraw last time, they generally paid out within 5 minutes or so. I can't really speak on your behalf though, just in my own experience. So all in all, MISTPLAY is actually still doing very well in my country, and I suggest you guys do check it out if you have the time to see how it is in your own country. Let's move on to the next app. Just quickly want to say, if you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Next up, we have an app called Bingo Cow, and this is what it looks like when you launch it up. Bottom of the screen, we have our gem-based currency, as well as a 3-hour timer, and our supposed PayPal currency to the right of that. Middle of the screen, we can decide how many cards of bingo we want to play with. Top left corner of the screen, we have our gold-based currency for purchasing the bingo cards. which you can find under the task, card, and shop area. So either you can purchase the bingo cards or you can simply wait and they should come back in theory. There is a lucky scratch system as well, which I'm sure you guys understand how this works. In fact, as you can see, an advertisement played automatically as I was talking because yet again, another intrusive ad system game app, everyone. Now we have the choice to either collect the 2,200 coins we just got from the scratch card by watching an ad, or we can cancel it, which will play an ad anyway. It really is a brutal system for ads. They also do have a daily task area. Again, everyone, this is pretty straightforward. Just play throughout the game and you'll get these little tasks completed, and there's another ad. I just find it funny that I have to talk quick because the advertisement will play before I can show you what I need to show you. Anyway, this is the bingo portion. Top of the screen, you have your bingo numbers and the balls left. Underneath that, we have a little mini game power-up area. We then have a floating chest, which will give you straight up gems. And then, of course, we have the bingo numbers, everyone. So again, I'm sure you guys understand how to play bingo. Very, very straightforward. And if you don't want to wait around, you can speed up the bingo game by going to ×2 speed or going back to ×1. So this is the actual little mini game area. Apparently we're going to land on something here, and it is 2 numbers. So everyone, your ultimate goal is just to get the gems by watching the advertisements. Like you can see here, it's asking me to watch another ad. Even if I press the get button, advertisement will play. So you might as well just press the ×2 button. And without wasting your time, that is literally all there is to the application, okay? So you're probably wondering, all right, how'd the actual earning experience go? So I started off today's test with 2 hours and 50 minutes on the timer. I then generated 17,401 of the gems for about an hour of gameplay. And that only converted into 2 cents worth of USD currency. I then played again to generate 32,000 of the gems almost, which took almost 2 hours. And that finally converted into 6 cents worth of USD. I am happy to say, everyone, I did withdraw the 6 cents USD to see if it actually would come through. And yes, at least here in my country and experience, it did come through within about 5 minutes. But 6 cents USD for 3 hours of gameplay, essentially. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your time, but that is really, really bad in my opinion, alright? So that's my review on Bingo Cow. Let's move on. Next up, it's Bucks Plus. And this is what it looks like when you launch it up. Top right corner of the screen, you have a coin-based currency. And before checking out the actual game options, let me just show you the withdraw option. At least here in Australia, I have 2 separate options. I have PayPal currency for 8 cents for 900 of the coins. And this goes all the way down to $33.33 for 140,000 of the coins. Next, I have Amazon currency for 83 cents minimum for 3,000 coins. This goes all the way down to $25 for 120,000 of the coins. I also have an Apple withdrawal for $3.33 for 12,000 coins. And then we have a Google Play withdrawal for $18.33 minimum for 66,000 of the coins. Granted, each of these minimums is obviously going to be different depending on your country, everyone. What you're seeing here is just based on Australia, as always. So you may be thinking, okay, an 8 cent minimum for just 900 coins, that sounds pretty good, right? So the only earning function here in my country is a playtime reward system. I have puzzles and survival for 173,000 of the coins in total, and this is a task-based offer. And I also have Raid Rush Tower Defense for 109,000 of the coins in total. For today's video, I played a game called Stack Ball and managed to generate 930 of the coins, which is roughly the amount I needed for 8 cents. So just in case you forgot, around 100,000 of the coins was $25. So Puzzles and Survivals is almost $50, while Raid Rush is around $26 or so. Now for offers, everyone, that's really low in my opinion, okay? I will say though, the little Stack Rush game that you can play, at least in my country, was actually quite fun. Although keeping in mind between every level, there was an ad. There is a cashback area as well, where apparently you can get up to 25,000 of the coins if you do an in-app purchase on one of the games. You will have to submit proof though. Again, that's completely up to you if you want to try and go through that. For today's video though, I did withdraw the 8 cents worth of currency, and I am happy to say, everyone, that yes, it did actually hit my PayPal account within about 10 minutes or so, so that was great to see. But it did take me around an hour to generate that amount. I'm not too sure who's really going to have the use for little apps like these, but at least now you know about it just in case. That's my review on Bucks Plus. Let's move on. Next, I'd like to share my experience with MoneyTime recently. So for today's video, I did a little experiment with MoneyTime, everyone. I played Ball Sort Puzzle for around 22 minutes, same with Sword Slash, same with Bounce and Break, and same with Solo Solitaire. Because what I noticed with MoneyTime, at least here in Australia, they've introduced a lot of new games over the past couple of months, which is great to see. But in my opinion, each of them has their own earning rate. So I chose ones I thought would be good, and let me just show you what happened. I started my test off at 2 hours and 54 minutes with 4 cents in my balance. Something very odd happened though. I was playing up until 2 hours and 37 minutes with almost 300,000 money's currency in my balance. And then it literally updated, guys, which is very, very different. I've never really seen that before with MoneyTime, where the balance updates on its own before the timer runs out. I then played all the way down to 1 hour and 41 minutes with still almost 500,000 monies in the balance. And remember, we started off with just 4 cents and we now have 39 cents in the balance. And that went to $1.68 at the end of the timer. So from a MoneyTime point of view, that's actually really, really solid. And you don't really see that too often. At least I don't here in Australia. Perhaps in your own country that's pretty normal for you. Although to be fair, the minimum cash out now on MoneyTime is $3.20 here in Australia for both PayPal and gift card withdrawals. But I just found it very interesting how that worked this time around. If you guys have been using MoneyTime lately, just let me know in the comments how your experience has been and how the rates have been as well for you, because I really think everything has been really low lately, and to see the rates today is actually quite interesting. Anyway, that was just my little update on MoneyTime. Check out my channel for almost 1,000 reviews. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there.